before I even jump into this, I have to give you flowers for this role. You played
Oh,
her in such a way, you made her vulnerable and just so beautiful. I found myself watching this like I was taking advice from her. You're
oh,
amazing.
thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that means a lot because I really wanted it to be personal and I wanted to reach people. I had my very personal reasons for doing this film and I really wanted to get it right. And the idea being when you've gone through trauma, when you're in grief, to not sit in it alone for too long. Um, Talk about put it into words, even if you're just journaling. Um, because once it's spoken to someone else, there will be others that will hear you. Um, and through that starts this little tiny bit of healing. And through that, it, you just begin to grow, anyway, that was my own experience. And but they got me in this film when I was still in that place of isolation, and I'm really glad they got it on film because I was trying to find a story that really meant something, that really could tell the story. Oh, where are you going to find that, And you're certainly not going to find it in anything mainstream. You're going to find it in a little indie because that's always the best writing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's the script. Um, and and it has begun this amazing conversation, and it has given voice to veterans and their families and the Gold Star families. It I think one thing that I'd never heard before is we often hear PTSD. Um, and it's kind of like, ooh, that's really heavy. And but I'd never heard the term post-traumatic growth. I didn't know that was a thing. I mean, that is a term that they use because it is about the healing and growth and I just thought, oh, that's wonderful. That's I need some of that. And then and all these people that volunteer, there are people that really want to help who have been through it themselves. So that message being out there and for them once Stephen, once he started showing the film to to these various groups, it they said to us like these are our voices, no one's telling our stories. These are people that are trained soldiers. They're trained for war. They're not trained to come home. They're not trained to talk about it. They're not trained to like let go and so when they get home, like what do their families do? What do they, they're alone and what do how can their friends help? So that story of healing has got to be told. And he spent 10 years, he and Matt, working really closely. It took Stephen years to gain their trust. The woman that my character is loosely based on, when he first met her, she was therapist in training. That's why my character is that. That's why she's like a newbie, right? And doesn't really know what she's doing, but knows that she has to because of her own personal experience. And then 10 years later, she's like one of the leading therapists um, and he was able to put all this on film with their permission. Anybody who's, because it's all these different stories combined into these characters, and he really sought out their permission so they would know what the script was about and had their blessing. So uh, it just means so much that we have there's so many that support us and it's just it's a really wonderful thing for people to experience. There's a lot of people, civilians, that really don't know anything about this, but want to, or they know someone who needs this.
Yeah.
This gives them the conversation. And it just, this movie is just it's a wonderful message of hope, but it's a message of life. It's a message of restoration and recovery and strength, and it's when you have the least amount of hope, you don't have hope anymore, you want to leave, and you can stay. And these guys, this is their stories of how they did that. So I was very honored that I got to be a part of that. Like,
I
I don't
couldn't.
know if I've been so, like, really felt honored. This is the most important movie that I've ever made. I felt such a responsibility to to do this right. And so when it turned out to be a good movie, I was like, oh yes, this is what now it's going to go out there in the world, and it's already helping people. And that's what I wished for.
That's the beauty. I'm crying over here. You've got me crying. I don't know if you could see it. But I really felt that. I mean, anybody who has experienced loss or grief, I mean, I was not obviously what I learned through that, not having served in the military, that was a huge part of it. But just
Yeah, like the sitting alone with it, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. But the human emotion and your character was so gentle. You talked about this, you have a line in there that really moved me where you talked about taking away the in the ending of someone's life. It's not ending it, it's taking away the hope from someone else. You
Hmm.
had so many profound moments in this, whether it was a line or a moment in stillness. Was there a moment that you felt while you were on set or that you look back watching it that really wowed you?
All of it. Every minute of it, it was very, very heavy. It was really hard to, I mean, something like there's a shot where I'm just walking down a hallway and there was this board up in the hallway that had all these different flyers on it for all these different activities and yoga and meditation and this therapy and that therapy and all these different help things just tacked all over this board. And I'm just supposed to be walking by, and every time I knew it was there, I knew it was there. And I I really like, and not one of those actors where I like break down and have to go, you know, but I did because for my family, there wasn't that opportunity. And for a lot of people, when they are in that place, they don't see the help that is there. And they're so isolated in it that they don't think there's anyone that can help pull them out of the hole that gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And like a black hole, it just keeps pulling everything in on top of you. And but you can get out. And so it was just, I had to take some time off after the film. And because it was just all around us, the crew and everybody involved in the making of this movie had been touched by this. So it mattered. And there was a lot of focus. And there's never enough money on these kind of tiny projects. It's a miracle he got it together. But I think everyone was so dedicated that, so I guess the moments that stayed with me were the more painful ones. And isn't that funny? That's about our human nature, is that the bad memories are the ones that seem to last. And, I just remember being so happy that it was over. It's like, what? You know, there, and it. And I thought, wow, that's interesting psychology. That's very interesting that that's what our brain will hang on to. So in that kind of trauma that could lead to depression, that could lead to physical downfall, uh, there has to be a way out, and there are many ways out. And in my own experience, there were. And it eventually allowed me my own kind of recovery and growth. And then I could be there for others. I could be there in a way, I could be a different kind of mother than I had been in the midst of it. So eventually the stronger then, the more clear you become, um, there's just a lot of light, and then you want to be of service to others. It's just sort of a natural thing that starts to happen. So people ask, well, what can I do? And I can't make a movie. And I'm like, well, volunteer at the food bank, or, be nice to the person at the gas station. Don't just look at your phone while you're checking out. Just say, hi, how you doing? Okay, great. Have a good day. Because you never know, that one little thing just makes somebody's day. There are big things you could do. Yes, you could go into big time, you know, helping and volunteering, and a lot of people don't have the space in their life to do that. So they can do lots of little things. So that's what I found outside of the film. As I got stronger, I found a lot of little things that I could do. And that just keeps expanding. So it's you don't have to have money to do that. You just have to have the capacity. And it just starts happening. It's kind of miraculous. It really is.
It really is. You did what a
And
beautiful
you
thing.
obviously know, you've obviously been there,
Yeah.
and so the feeling and what can happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And it costs nothing to be kind. I mean that is
Oh, I
I
love that. Yes. It costs
that
nothing to
is
become.
what it's all about. You did I have to thank you for this because you just you did such a beautiful job. I truly love as an artist, you didn't just create a character, you actually created someone that gives hope to people who are watching this. So thank you for being a part of this film. Thank you, Virginia, for everything you do. I
And
love you so
thank you
much.
for giving us time, because we all, everyone involved in this really appreciates it, because we're not inside the big machine, rolling out the ads and everything. But we're all trying to be of service. And so when someone like you gives us time, it means everything. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.